Welcome, Steve.
G'day, Bruce. Lovely to see you.
Oh, I get so excited.
Yeah, I do. This is
My toes are webbed. My nostrils are flared.
Oh man, I love it when you talk dirty.
Let's talk sponsors first.
Oh, absolutely.
Our great appreciation and thank you to Brian Curl Basketball.
Yeah.
Good man, Brian Curl does great things for basketball. If anybody interested in expanding your pathways, playing, coaching, refereeing, administration, score bench, that's the place to be. Best in Australia. And our good friend Chris Weir from FIT Education. You guys have been a big help to us.
Well, we got some new equipment today, so
You know it.
I'm hopeful that my Dyson tones come across well.
You seem false. Okay, we're going to start with our shout-outs.
Yeah.
One we missed last episode, but to the great Michele Timms being inducted into the Naismith Hall of Fame. Timmsy is a first Australian. First off, she's a stud.
Yeah.
Right? She was a stud. And first Australian to play in the WNBA.
Yeah.
Hats off, Michele. Still doing great things in basketball. A lot of people aren't aware that she went with Tom Maher when Tom was the head coach of China.
Yeah.
Michele was the assistant.
I didn't know
Michele
that.
stayed on
Wow.
yeah. She's also a great coach. She runs her own academy down in Melbourne, and it's just great when you see greats like Michele giving back.
Yes.
Another shout out, Body Naj. The great, he's got the best blog, no doubt covers basketball better than anyone. And particularly,
Just how long he's been doing it.
he is the scribe of reason, and particularly with the WNBL. If you want to find out anything about the WNBL, go to Body Naj's blog. He runs a podcast as well, and good shout out. He does great things for the game through his journalistic skill. Another shout out, and I'm going to hand shout outs over to you, but Chris Goulding's 46-point outburst
Unbelievable.
was unbelievable. Now, I go back with Chris. He won a Queensland State League championship at Southern Districts. He was 16 years old in our roster. And credit goes to Big Joe Tarkasian. Sorry, Joe. Everybody knows Biggie.
Yeah.
But he was training. We were having training, and we had Benny Thompson and Frankie Dremick and Greg Vanderjack, and we had a squad.
That's a stacked team.
We had a very good team. And we went and we beat Cairns in our opening game, and then we had to play Townsville. That's a tough road trip in this Queensland State League, now known as NBL 1. And Bubbles came in. Those of you who know Chris from his youth, he's got the nickname Bubbles. But he came in and got 16 points, right? And we're all like, this kid's got, very confident without arrogance. And obviously his career now is Hall of Fame.
From a shooting perspective, I just can't believe he never made it. And I think it's just life and timing, but his shooting capability is NBA.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's just phenomenal. And, could he have helped us in an Olympic Games? Like, that guy is a guy that can sit on the bench all game and go on with 1 minute and hit 2 threes.
I reckon. I caught a glimpse of Chris being interviewed, and he was talking about Dyson Daniels, who we're giving a shout out to now.
Yeah.
And Chris was saying this was his, I've arrived, my breakthrough game. Daniels is now with Atlanta. God, he's long and talented. And
he is
great defender.
The Dyson Daniels is another shout out for me. I just think he's just on fire. He's averaging 3.7 steals a game, something like 6.9 deflections.
Yeah.
It's people who may not have played a lot or coached at a certain level, don't understand how important deflections are in a game and pushing team out of their offense and where they don't want to be. So yeah, so 28 points he scored was his highest against Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
He's arrived. He's legit, and it's only going to be great.
Yeah,
for the next boomers.
Well, he was good at the Olympics, and he
was.
Yeah, so I take my hat off to him. I think he's working his butt, and he's certainly let the NBA know that he's there. I've got two more shout outs for us.
Go for it.
The Kangaroos, Aussie Kangaroos, rugby league. As you know, I'm a rugby league fan. In the Pacific tournament, we played against Tonga. Unbelievable crowd. Tonga support for their own Tonga team. And, I have some friends that are AFL mad.
I am AFL mad.
Yeah, and they suggest sometimes that rugby league players or Islanders or Tongans
are soon to be in jail.
I think you've got to be careful when you make threats like that.
It's not a threat.
Yeah.
Who's the Broncos guy that they just had a...
Look, he just was driving unlicensed and had some sort of drug in his system.
Usually with rugby
but
league
we can
players,
talk about
let that
we can
go.
talk about the Collingwood team and the bikies down in Melbourne, couldn't we? Some of the St Kilda boys spending time at some of the gay nightclubs. Anyway, we won't go there. We just won't. Kangaroos won that in a fantastic tournament. And the last lady I want to say a thank you to, and I know personally, is Sandy Brondello. Like, to win the WNBA,
Huge.
in New York, New York is like one of the greatest cities in the world, and to be on that platform, like she would be struggling walking the streets without people patting her on the back. And
It was a huge congratulations to Sandy. Our Opals head coach does a great job there. Medaled again.
Yeah,
she's
there's
a national treasure.
There's not much there's done. Girl out of Mackay, tough as hell.
You got to remember what a great player she was.
Oh, but she used to do sessions with us sometimes, the boys. She was tough as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love her. Good on you.
Okay, well, once again, just a little nod out to Brian Curl Basketball and FIT Education for their very generous sponsorship. Mate, we got some Daily Mail.
Yeah, we got a couple of things that just, I like the Daily Mail concept.
I do too. It's not really a full stop and pivot. It's a whole nother section that we will be willing to take sponsorship for, will we not?
Absolutely.
Do I sound like Derek Rucker?
Oh, come on. You're not promoting yourself that much.
Okay, it's not about me. It's about the podcast.
Okay. So, thinking of sponsorship, I think we've already got two great sponsors.
Great sponsors.
But there is opportunity. As our numbers rise, I've got Mum as the number one fan, and my sister has joined in as well. So.
Well, I got, all of you got our website. It's violationsandinsults@gmail.com.
Yeah, that's our email, not website.
That's did I say website?
Yeah, I mean, that's okay.
Oh, I've been under the weather a little bit.
Yeah,
but, yeah. So, hey, email us. Any questions, any topics you'd like us, any guests, because I'm getting a lot of guys queuing up, and I keep telling them, you're just not interesting.
Yeah, there is quite a few that have put their hand up, and I go, you got to be joking, mate. You're boring as batshit.
Exactly. So we want guys with
We want
jam.
entertainment.
We want entertainment. We want something informative.
Yeah.
We want something our listeners can learn about. So we'll get a couple of saps to come on, very soon. And we found the technology, how we can do interstate and international.
Absolutely.
I'm going to drop a name. I was speaking with Tommy Wisman.
Tommy would be good.
He'd be great, mate. And he's in Taiwan in an advisory role. This is something that in the Asian basketball community, they will get an experienced coach like a Brian Curl, like a Tom Wisman.
Yeah.
And they help advise the coach.
Right.
Right? And whether you take my advice or not, I'm still getting paid. But he had an interesting story about our friend Brennan Joyce, who was coaching in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Now, they got a strange
This
setup
part of
there.
this is Daily Mail.
This is some Daily Mail.
Yeah.
I'm jumping in, okay?
Yeah, no problem.
So Brennan's not coaching there this year. He was intending to take the Adelaide job and then dispute over remuneration.
Right.
And while he was doing that, they were saying, well, we're not going to, because he was going to commit to doing that. He's taken the year off. But it's an interesting thing about the Taiwan. They have two different leagues. There's only 7 teams in each league. You'd think merger, perhaps? You know, is that even thought of that?
Are they supposedly the same standard?
No. So you play there. So you got 6 opponents. You play them 6 times. Does that get,
It's a little bit of overplaying there,
isn't it? Just a
Yeah.
little bit. But
Yeah.
hey, you know, they it's great because it gives opportunities for our Australian coaches and players to go. They get big time players. They had DeMarcus Cousin, the very team that Tom is in consulting with. I almost said insulting. Is Jeremy Lin's team. You remember Lynn Sanity?
Yeah, Lynn Sanity, New York Knicks.
That's correct. So they had DeMarcus Cousins. Before that, they had Dwight Howard.
Yeah.
So they're getting top end, right?
People at the end of their career, NBA career.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
Like our good friend Will Montrell.
And we'll get on to him.
Yeah, okay.
That's also here in our Daily Mail. But you got some Daily Mail news.
Yeah, I got a couple of things here. I'd like to continue to bring up the decals on the floor of the NBL.
It's a
We're advocating that they get with technology, use digital. People at the game can see all the billboards. It's like Adams is still carrying an injury from.
I mean, they were just in the game yesterday. I don't know if it was Mitch Norton. You know, you hit those things, mate, and with a little bit of money, you're down.
Yeah.
But it's the risk factor.
I just don't understand. And I don't understand why the Players Association. But anyway, we bring it up every week because it bothers us. Okay. Microphone on the coaches. Yeah. I enjoy watching coaches in timeouts because I learn a lot from watching a coach, how they do their timeout. It's just something, being a coach myself, I enjoy watching that. So yeah, they've got a microphone for that. But the other day it was Perth and Illawarra. We talk about some people that just have an angry persona, and we've talked about Sobey's always angry, but Johnny Riley, who I know very well, is a good man. He is got an angry persona, right? And very condescending to the referees because you can hear it. And it actually took away from the game because Tatum was having a little tanty as well and picking on the referees, and it's just a bad look.
It is a bad look, but I've got to say this. We're no different than a lot of. I was watching the Lakers and Spurs before I left to come here and jump in, but inconsistency from officials, it's expected.
Yes.
It's a difficult thing. And I wish they would get rid of the challenge. Get rid of it because, if I'm reffing and I make a mistake,
It's highlighted.
I don't need that, right?
Yeah.
Most of the times I know when I make a mistake, but it puts them in a real awkward position. It's horrible viewing, by the way.
Yeah.
The NBL chooses to have 3 commentators, and they, I can't watch a lot of that and listen to a lot of that, and pretty during dead time. And speculate, is it, isn't, it should be, it's not. Look, Damon Lowry's great. I think Andrew's great. I think Leonard Copeland is really good.
Yes.
I think Damian Martin, we don't hear enough of him because he's just in WA.
Yes.
I think he's exceptional.
Yes.
Abercrombie as an analyst is
On the
really
sideline,
good.
yeah, he's good. He's
And to be honest, Derek, if you look past the self-promotion, his
he switched on his commentary.
it's pretty good. But we don't need the inside jokes. I don't care where you buy your clothes. All of that stuff doesn't matter. But he is pretty concise with his analysis.
Yeah, definitely. So that were Edwards from
This is interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Now there was a post that came out after a game. I can't remember which game. He was in Melbourne, so maybe.
Did you do your research?
I just can't quite remember who the game was, but I think it was United. Anyway, post game, he goes in, but mind you, it came out the next day, an investigation on the NBL page, right? Well, I don't know how much investigating you have to do, because he walked into the referee's room after the game and gave him a spray. Now, that's probably not the smartest thing to do.
No.
And your team's got injuries. You're the best player in the team. That he's totally thought about himself only. Right?
True. Yes.
Anyway, so he got it off his chest, and geez, you're a big guy. Well done, mate. But that's cost you eventually only 10 days. Sorry, producer. 10 days took for the NBL to suspend him for one game. So the next game that Cairns played, he played and had 28 points against the Bullets. And then he was suspended for the Phoenix game, the game after. So the game against the Bullets, he beat them. He shouldn't have been playing. Now, I'm not saying that's the right way to win a game.
I think there's a word for this. Ridiculous. I was thinking bullshit. That is absolute bull. I mean, that if you go into the referees' rooms, this is a lay down misere. You're suspended one game.
At least.
Right, at the very least, and a fine.
Game. And why do we need to take 10 days to investigate?
You don't. Once it's there, once the three referees and maybe an educator are in there, that's it, mate. You enter in here, you are
gone.
Gone.
That's just the stupidest thing
It's there was another thing, and I don't want to, because I know you got a few more Daily Mails and insults, but I saw on social media that apparently the jack jumpers are getting, and because they don't say what it is, but there are personal attacks against the players
on social media.
On social media.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, that is absolutely, inappropriate. It's like, hey, we're all fans of the sport. You can have your own insults, you can have your own praises, but you
have
don't
your own opinion.
that.
But you don't go on social media, and you're a coward.
You are a coward, and
because you're hiding behind. You're not actually truly having a conversation. You're hiding and making an attack on someone because we don't know who you are.
It's classless, man.
You're a fucking loser.
Fucking loser. All right, mate. You got a couple more here.
I just got one more. I just found it interesting. Pepper.
Yeah. From Perth.
Yeah.
Perth's Pepper.
Yeah, he's gone pretty well.
Yes.
He's got a good game. I think he's got to work. Personally, I've always a bit harder on his defence, but I'm sure Coach really will get that into him. But he was actually born in Shepparton, left when he was 3. His father is an American, played at the NBL 1 level somewhere down there, and he married an Australian lady. So he grew up in the west coast of, I think, in Washington State. And so he's actually got a dual passport, Australian and American. So he's a pretty good pickup.
Is he a Yank or is he an Aussie?
He's got both. He's dual citizen.
Oh, he's dual. He's like me.
Are you dual citizen?
Yeah, I am a dual citizen, mate.
Wow.
I'm leaning more. Yeah. I only travel on my Australian passport.
Do you know Lyndon Briefies, we call him?
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. He's got dual citizenship too.
What is he?
Croatia.
Croatian.
I'm not joking.
Well, that isn't that really from his
through
partner,
his
Jude?
through his wife, Jude.
Right. But it doesn't Lyndon. He could pass for a Croatian in a heartbeat.
German.
He's got that Nordic.
He's definitely, he's
What is he?
Dutch.
Dutch. There you go.
But
we got,
we're looking-
and
hey,
we
but I
are
tell you
we
what,
are going to
we're-
get.
We're looking forward to having Undies.
Yeah,
on.
we're going to have Undies on because he has a really interesting basketball story, sport administration. And now he's a pimp. He's an agent.
Yeah.
Doing well there but really good. He coached at the NBL level with Trevor Gleason up at Townsville. His
Went to the Institute of
administrative work.
Sport.
He did go to the Institute of Sport. They couldn't find a hat that fit him. But we're going to get him on. He'll be our next guest. We have a little something down here both about Gillespie and the Darwin Salties, do we not?
Yeah. So let's go to Salties real quickly. And,
Okay.
They're out of the NBL one, but there's like financial issues. Because the association the Salties got their own, their own committee or whatever they are. They're a separate entity, but the association is the fueling of it. And there's just a whole lot of dodginess going on with money up there, but they're out of the NBL one. Now, Bruce, can I ask you the question? Why were they even in it?
Well, I asked that question. I mean, you would have thought that South Australia or the central region of the NBL one would have been more, but they said no. It's not for South Australian basketball's responsibility to develop the Northern Territory basketball. I have no idea why Basketball Queensland said yeah. I know the travel because our Brisbane Capitals went up and beat them. They finished second in the regular season because, they had talent.
Yes.
They had Noiboy, right?
And McDonald from
And McDonald.
Tassie.
And it was good as
He's
that
tough.
made a big difference yesterday, having him back in their victory in Tassie over our Brisbane Bullets, which we might get to later or not. But, they only paid for 13 flights. That means you get your head coach, your assistant coach, your team manager, and 9 players.
Yeah.
Right, or 10 players, and then it got to the finals. And you fly in on the day and fly out that night.
That's crazy.
Right, they don't know accommodation, but when we went, we're taking our full complement of 12 players. We're taking our 2 assistants, our head coach and 2 assistants. We're taking our physio, and we're spending the night.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't do we'll pay for it, man. We don't get all the way to the semifinals, and then let you. On your
crazy.
budget. So they never should have been in. The thing is, when you make decisions like this, and I don't know if Basketball Queensland vet their members, that do you want them in or not? I don't believe they do if it's from the history of, past history.
There's something dodgy going on up there with, general managers and or the committee, they haven't been presenting their financials annually and excuses after excuses. And
So if that was happening in the very first year that they were in it, then you're out. I mean, what are the conditions other than you're paying for these teams to come in? And
you can't afford it,
you
but
just don't go
surely-
that route. But here, it's worse than that. So we had 14 teams in that competition last year. Now they're out. North Gold Coast is out.
Yes.
And
Red City.
Red City are out.
Yeah.
That gives us 11 teams.
Yeah.
Now, every GM is thinking, well, that'll save us money. There's going to be less games. Well, you're not going to be making money. Here's a big difference with a lot of, professional teams and NBL 1 teams.
Yeah.
Saving money doesn't make money, right? Slashing expenses. And I know, oh, great. We don't have to spend as much because we're not going to be playing 19 games. We're not going to get 9 home games.
Yeah.
I got to think that BQ, you got to really think more and maybe speak to your members. You serve your members. It's not the other way around.
I mean, that could be another whole topic about.
Well, we're going to dig in. We're going to dissect.
Yeah.
Now, we have something about Gillespie, do we not?
Gillespie, New Zealand, and the Breakers are a good team.
We're doing a deep dive on them next.
Yeah, well coached. But Gillespie, I read an article, has apparently been hunted by Olympia Milan and potentially not be playing for the Breakers post the FIBA break.
Right.
That's the word on the street. And also because Taco Fall. Well, do you say it taco or taco?
I call it taco, but,
Okay.
I have that
And
little
maybe
bit of
when he's-
California, Mexican.
And when he's maybe in the room, I'd probably ask someone how to say it properly. But anyway, taco ball.
Well, you know what
Hall.
taco here's more than anything else?
Yeah.
Duck.
Yeah. And he's there rehabbing. So he's actually in New Zealand. So the word on the street is
Drug
that,
problems?
No.
Oh, injury.
Injury. That's pretty funny. But he may be appearing in the league, and I think that'll be a good thing for the league. Another bit of a novelty. 7'6". So, so Gillespie, who I think is a solid import, comes off the bench. But anyway, that sort of takes us into the Breakers.
Yeah. And just once again, I want to thank our sponsors, FIT Education. Okay. Thank you from our producer. Use full names. Okay. It's Bruce Allen Palmer. Chris Weir from FIT Education. Thank you. And Brian Curl Basketball. Great sponsorship. We're doing a deep dive into the New Zealand Breakers.
Okay.
What spawned all this? I saw them. Now, a little bit of credit. They came and they beat Melbourne United by 30. However, Melbourne United were missing or had an injured Matthew Dellavedova. They also had Ian Clark was out injured. So they really only had Illy, right, playing the point. Foxworthy, I don't know if he's the older or the younger.
But didn't Flynn Cameron was there?
Flynn Cameron was there, and I like him a lot.
Very much.
But,
Anyway, let's go
you're
Breakers.
losing.
Let's go
And this
Breakers.
is another, before we get stuck into the Breakers, I was speaking with, but can I drop a name?
Yeah.
Brian Gorgian.
Oh.
About the importance of point guard play. Because he's had Adams coming back from injury. Liefa has probably been his next best point guard. You need three, right? And
Bruce,
Sean Bruce,
but he's
injuries.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Aging.
He's aging. He's a pro.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you look at it, look at United's guards. Look at New Zealand's guards.
Yeah.
Look at, Perth, now that, they want him to be the MVP every single year. Bryce Cotton. We're using full names now. All right, let's dig in, shall we? We're going to start with the owner, Matt Walsh.
Okay, yeah.
Now, he has NBA experience, and I remember I was in, I'm going to drop country now. I was in China, working for NBA China, and Greg Stolt, who has played out here, Walsh is also from University of Florida. He's a Gator. So there was a connection.
So he's American.
He's American. Who was drafted with Philadelphia.
Oh.
So and being a Florida old boy, I remember Greg coming to me and saying, Greg Stolt, that is, what do you think of this, of buying into the NBL? I got to go back. Can I stop? Pivot. Because I remember I was over there and Greg said to me, he goes, I can't believe the NBL sold for $50 million.
Second best league in the world.
Well, I said, no, mate, it was $5 million. They're giving it away. But now Walsh is in. Came in 2019. And after they had won their, I think, 4 championships, Andre Lamanis. He's also got
CJ playing.
CJ played on that team. Ben Pepper, they had a squad.
Yeah.
They were really good. And Anyway, he's got Victor Oladipo and Sean Marion. Sean Marion, better known as the Matrix. They're part owners
Of the Breakers.
of the Breakers.
Wow.
Now, their connection with Philadelphia, did I say Philadelphia? 76ers? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where their coach, Petteri Kaponen, probably mispronounced it, but I used both first and last
doing
name.
some coaching in the NBA, wasn't
No, he was drafted.
That's
Right?
By Philadelphia.
By Philadelphia.
Yes.
Now, he's an interesting story. So, I mean, I'm looking at,
Well, he could play.
he could
Point
play.
guard.
Point guard, 6'5",
Tough.
from Denmark,
Yeah.
right? Not known as
I thought he was from Finland.
Finland it is.
Yeah.
I get, it all started with the linen briefies thing, man.
Yeah,
I didn't
right.
know if he was Polish or,
Yeah. No, he's actually Finland and played for Finland. I remember him. Because he was a tall point guard.
tall point guard, mate. Euro Cup champion in 15, all Euro Cup first team. This guy's
He's elite.
he's elite. And then he came back and coached Finland's national team. Now, I don't know his assistants, but they all look European.
Yeah.
I want to go now, the guy that I think right now, if it happened, MVP, Parker Jackson Cartwright.
Boy, that guy can play.
He can play. He plays with a visible joy,
Yeah.
and every team
His speed is
is impressive.
yeah.
University of Arizona Wildcats. Do you have any association with them?
Just the head coach.
Okay.
So his name is Tommy Lloyd.
Tommy Lloyd. Well, this guy
I've
didn't
got to
play
work
for
hard
Tommy
to get
Lloyd.
Tommy on here one day.
He was all NBL first team last year. Bundesliga MVP in 22. All Bundesliga first team 22. This guy is big time. And,
I love how he attacks because he's not big, not tall.
no, he's not
But he
tall. He's
pulls
lightning
up on
quick.
a dime,
Yeah.
and he can hit that mid range. Like if you get someone on their heels, he can go all the way to the rim, no problem. But the old mid range game, everyone says we only shoot threes or go to the bucket. Correct, right? This guy actually has mid range game as well.
Oh, yeah. But you know what I like most about him? And every team needs, you want every player to be like this. He's glue. He lifts him up,
Yes.
right? He's really positive. He is the guy that motivates.
Yeah.
You don't want to always be on the coach.
Mate,
you want
you can-
leaders in your group.
He just competes, and he takes on any challenge. I like him. I like him a lot.
Another good one, they've got Matt Mooney.
Like him a lot.
Well, high pedigree. Now, what I remember from Mooney, first off, he went to the Air Force Academy.
Yeah.
So that tells me he's intelligent,
Yeah.
right? Forget about your football, basketball skills. Academically, you got to be on top of things. He then transferred to Texas Tech.
Yes.
Made it to the grand final. I remember seeing him playing in the NC2A final.
Yeah, right.
Bounced around the NBA,
He's played a lot in Europe.
played a lot in Europe. Air Force, South Dakota, then Texas Tech.
Yeah.
Went undrafted, but he
had some time
10-day
there,
contract with the Knicks.
Yeah.
Played a lot overseas. Last year to present, 24 now.
Yeah.
And he's only going to get better. He's a handful. He's a
Yeah,
good size guard.
He can shoot the ball.
Shoots the lights out.
Yeah.
Freddie Gillespie, who you've mentioned, NBA experience.
Yeah.
Now, this is what I'm hoping for the Bullets. We've got the news, and this should have been a shout out to George Gervin, who has now jumped on as an owner with the Bullets.
That would be the Iceman.
That is the Iceman. The finger roll.
Oh, man, he was sweet.
Yeah, it'll help with some cash, injection and saving, but it's also now somebody between Justin Schuler. Is that his right name?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the CEO who's not from basketball.
Yeah. The rugby guy.
You know, I would not want my investment to be laying in those two guys' hands.
Yeah.
And it'll help with the recruiting. By the way, in the game last night, of course, Bullets lost a close game. More credit really to the Jack Jumpers, but all three of their Prather, Bateman, Cooks, they all contributed offensively. I think the guy still that is their go-to is Bannon, Josh Bannon. He can score.
Yeah. He's got an
He's
unusual game.
He does have. He lacks power. He lacks speed. He's got length.
Yeah.
And he's got a nice touch. He's got a package of moves.
Down in the post, I don't know what he's shooting 3-point percentage, but it wouldn't be.
Well, have you done your research?
Well, I haven't done my research on
Okay.
every single player in the league, Bruce. But I'm making a suggestion that I don't think he shoots that well from. Because he does. He's not afraid of. Taking a shot. I can tell you.
All right. So they got the
Hey,
goal.
do you know, like, what is you see a lot now where the 4-man will bring the ball down the floor?
Xavier Cooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bannon does it a lot.
I like it.
What's the advantage?
Well, first off, is the opposing four going to get up and pressure you? I mean, if you want to apply pressure in the backcourt, it's going to have to be done through a zone. And, you know, this is something that I used to do. And we're going to, as we evolve as a podcast, we're going to talk a lot more about coaching, you know, strategy and tactics. But I would never have my one man defend the opposing one man. Right? I would always have my two. So David Graham, Marty Clark, you know, up here, Roger Smith, Luke Gribble. I want them putting heat on the opposing one, and then I want you to be the first player down court. When we get the defensive rebound, we get the stop, you got to be on the rim. And David Graham, I remember Marty Clark had a career high 30s. David was out injured. Marty Clark came in and had a 37-point game. Roger was prototypical. Roger Smith.
Yeah.
Get up 6'4", get up, dog the ball quick, and then get out fast too. So get out and run that, you know, stretch the D.
Yeah.
And I had a perfect complement in Luke Gribble that would come in and rest him. Luke, high energy, high IQ, strong. I remember he guarded. We beat Perth here with the Bullets, and he guarded Vlahoff. Head to head, you know, he was that
Luke
strong. Luke Gribble. So, but I want to get back into, you know, these are things that why the four brings it up. It's a good play. I had Scott Fisher could bring it up. Cecil Exum could bring it up.
And I mean, it takes obviously the 4-man. Rarely the defensive player is going to get up and in the full court. They're just not.
They're not going to do it, mate. I mean, but you want them to. You know,
But
and
you
if
know,
you're not
yeah,
practicing that,
They
it
can't
won't
just
happen.
automatically do it. They pick them up at halfway. So
Yeah.
the ball gets up down the court easily. And I guess, yeah, the Bullets use a dribble handoff so often that.
You can wind your watch by
Well,
it.
Ben's entry is a dribble handoff, so the guard now gets the ball.
Yeah.
But I'm a bit old school. I still think when a point guard brings the ball up the floor and runs the show, just if they're a good point guard, everything's going to go the way they want to play.
And
to the
mate,
game
Mitch Norton, I love it.
Oh, mate. I think
Tougher than nails. Great vision. He had some passes last night that I thought, wow, that's big time. But hey, mate, we got to pivot back to New Zealand.
Yeah, I just want to talk to me about doing research. I just wanted to share you some facts.
Okay.
So far in the 25 season, Josh Bennett is shooting 39% from the field for 2 points.
Ooh.
And 31% from 3-point.
Ooh. Free throw?
Free throw, he is 93%. He's 21 of 23. So that's a good number.
And not enough attempts.
Yeah, but not enough attempts. See, whereas, that's not enough attempts. But, he shot 45% from the field last year and still went 33% from 3 points. So he's down on both those numbers. So they're the facts for you, okay?
Yeah, those are good facts, mate.
Fun facts.
We're going to get back
Fun
in.
facts with Steve. Now, that could be another episode.
How about
Another section. A sponsor.
Fun facts.
Fun facts with Steve.
It's a sponsor. Fun facts with Steve.
Yeah, there you go.
And then we'll have the coach's corner.
I like that.
Yeah.
Coach's corner. We do want some people to tell us from a coaching perspective. We would like to do one of the session where we deep dive a little bit on how Bruce and I like to coach. Bruce and I coached together for many years, and we have a similar. I think we complement each other well when we coach. We've chosen to do podcasting this year over coaching. Bruce coached for nearly 200 years, and I coached for 35.
Hardy har har. Meninga. What's his first name? Not Mal.
No, he's not Mal.
Played at Davidson.
Did he play at Davidson?
Yes. Yeah. This guy's big time. Last year he was with Cairns.
Yeah, and I thought he was an American one game when he came in, and I thought, God, he has spent a lot of time in the States. He's got a bit of a twang.
Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, he went to Davidson. But I had his whole thing here, and in my haste,
you're training. You're saying you didn't do your research very well.
I did my research. I didn't print it off.
But let's just say Meninga, tough as hell.
Yes.
Can shoot three.
Sam Meninga.
Oh, of course it is. There you go. Not Mal.
No. Thank God we got a producer, huh?
Oh, mate. He's getting the
It's
big
not
bucks.
smell my finger.
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
Sam Meninga.
Yes.
Anyway, he's big time.
Yeah, I like him.
But I'm going to talk about a couple of role players. Sean Bairstow is going to get more and more and more playing
6'7".
time. 6'7", listed 6'8". I think he's a legitimate 6'8". He had a great career at Utah State. Then played his eligibility and got one more year at Virginia Commonwealth. Now, he grew up as a point guard, right? Unlike Cam and Jared.
Yeah, they're all
Really
bigs.
good players. Mate, that family is good basketball, right? Penny coaches the mom, Penny Bairstow.
Yeah, she coached for me at Terrace when I was.
I remember her talking about your volatility and unwillingness to share. But anyway, he's going to get more and more of a role. I've coached all Bairstows. He was in the last under 20 Queensland team. He came in as a bottom age. Yeah. He really kind of he was crook, and he was in the squad, but
didn't play a lot.
But no, he wasn't ready, and he was sick. But he earned it prior to getting. And he went on a tour. He went to Churchy. They all went to Anglican Church Grammar School, and they always make an end-of-year trip to the States. He came back. He got what we thought was glandular fever, highly contagious. It wasn't.
At the time, I remember because I was helping you.
Yeah.
Coach
from afar.
Me and Roger come in.
Yeah. Anyway, I got nothing, but he's going to get better and better.
Interesting how he gets to be in New Zealand and not in Brisbane. How did we miss a kid like that?
Great question, mate. I mean, I've been saying this when
His brother's
Michael
playing
Downer
for
was
us,
an
right?
assistant. Get Chris Goulding back. He's a Brisbane kid. Get Mitch McCarron.
Yeah.
He's a Brisbane kid. Oh, the money, because Chris should deservedly be on big money, right? But hey, mate, do you want to compete? It's Brisbane. I don't relate very well
46
to guys
points
from
Goulding scores. We haven't got anyone with the abilities.
no one close. And, there was more. Brock Modem, pay him, bring him back. He's playing up in Hokkaido in Japan. Now, we can't compete with the dollars in China, Japan, Korea, Taiwan.
Yeah.
And they got the Eastern Asia League now, so there's a team in Macau, team in Hong Kong. But Mate, if you had those three guys right now and Sean Bairstow, you know,
I saw him name appear in the Breakers when at the start of the year, and I went, "Wow."
yeah, I went down and saw them play.
How do we miss that kid?
How do we miss that kid? I mean, this is where, you know, your assistant coaches, your, you know, administrators, who's on that? Because as far as I know, Bill Tomlinson, the assistant coach for the Kings, he knows every player. But, you know, because he was also in China with Brian.
Yeah.
He was Brian's assistant in the East Asia League.
Yeah.
They played in front of 60,000 people in the grand final in the Philippines. But he knows
that wasn't the second best league in there.
No. That was a distant third.
Yeah.
No, but you know, on top of who's playing over there, and I was speaking with, I'm going to drop some names, Michael Olson, who's over in Taiwan. He's the women's national coach. He's got a lot of their players are playing in China, right, in their league. And I said, mate, have you done your research? How many Taiwanese are playing in the States? Because you got to get on that because there'll be a slew. There'll be quite a few.
Okay.
Let's get back into it. I'm going to pivot. Another guy, Dane Pineau.
Like Dad had a good
Dad had a
then.
long career. Dad played at Hawaii, came out, played with the Tigers, played with Kilsyth.
Yeah.
Big, burly, lummox. That's what comes to mind.
Okay.
But Dane, now you need these role players. So Gillespie,
Coming
Meninga,
off the bench. Yeah.
all their bigs, mate. This is what he does on the day-to-day. He's a thumper.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what I need. You need to make these guys better. He embraces that role.
Yeah.
He gets some minutes.
Yeah.
And he's not going to hurt you, you know, and he's a banger.
Yeah.
You need a banger. Now, the guy that I'm most impressed with, and I had it all printed off, but you're going to have to look at his for Lopez, the Mexican kid.
Oh my goodness.
The next star.
Did you see the dunk? He had this big, wide windmill dunk. I just went.
How do you find them? I mean, you know, and he's not eligible for the NBA draft till after the 26th season.
Oh, yeah.
Or no, the 26th season. So he's got this year and next year.
And then there's the kid in Perth. He's from Spain.
Yeah.
Inzan, I think is his name.
Is he a next star?
Yeah, but he is a next star.
Let's find Lopez's first name. Kareem. This kid. Now, here's one of the things I remember Bob Knight, the legendary and the late, great Bob Knight used to say. He used to always worry about the game after they've blown somebody out. So what happened in New Zealand, they go there, they get United wounded, they thump them.
Yeah, they do.
By 30 plus. And I'm looking like, wow, they're getting everything they want, anything they want. Then they come back and drop their next two games.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I don't think that's on Pateri. That coach would know, you know, he's been at the highest level. He'd be aware of that. You're not always going to have the same. How's practice? That's what me as a co-mate, let's stay locked in.
Managing the 2-game weekend in the second best league in the world, the NBL, is a challenge. Travel in Australia is a challenge because, one, they're not sitting in business class seats. They try to get the extra leg seats.
No chartered flights.
No chartered flights. We can't afford that. And
well, but we're, you know, wait till we become, if the NBA is the best league, they're the A league.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get chartered flights if we become the 1A league.
Yeah, well, I can't see that happening.
No.
As you and I both know, college teams in the US have their own planes. In the NCAA, I know that for a fact.
Yeah, Kentucky does for sure. Yeah.
Gonzaga does.
Do they
Arizona,
really?
Yeah, one of the booster loans them a plane.
Name an old crooner that went to Gonzaga. A singer, actor.
Oh, Don't know.
Bing Crosby.
Stop it.
I'm telling you, I'm full of trivia.
Well, Johnny
So-
really also went to...
Johnny Really, Paul Rogers,
Yes.
Axel Dench. He's got quite an Australian connection.
Yes.
The kid that's playing in the NBA now
Tui,
from WA,
Tui was supposed to... Alex Tui from Sydney
next
King
star, yeah.
was supposed to go to Gonzaga and he pulled out last minute to go the route he's going now.
I think he'll have an NBA career.
I think so too.
But what's his name? Durack? No. Anyway, he's a WA kid and he's on the bubble in the NBA.
Yeah, Dukas.
Dukas.
Yeah.
Good research.
I just wanted you to
First name?
stumble there for a second while you...
Was it Richard or Dick?
I think we got to get some
It wouldn't be
criticism.
Dick Dukas.
Yeah, I know. All right, let's pivot.
All right, pivoting.
Let's
Pivoting, and we got to kind of tie this into a
yeah,
bow.
we need to tidy this up. Just another little fun fact from Steve.
Oh, fun fact. Okay.
There's a Gold Coast stadium going to be built in downtown Southport by 28-29 for the Olympics, and they're starting to talk about another Gold Coast team in the NBL.
Yep. Well, you got to find an owner that's prepared to lose money. You know what I mean? Because that's the formula. We need you in here to lose money.
Yeah.
Larry will buy 25%.
Yeah.
I don't see it happening.
Okay, I'm just telling
No,
you.
I do like the
I like the
whole-
idea of a stadium down there. It's good.
Oh, it's fantastic. They're getting all the facilities, mate. Our facilities, let's be frank.
Boondle.
I'm talking about association size. Well,
Yeah.
You know, it's good when you have that. Now we can use, because they've got 8 courts, right? And then they got
They've got Carrara, then they've got near the Dream World, they've got
another 12.
Yeah.
You know, and that was built during the Commonwealth. But they got facilities. The schools down there, Southport School, Southport High School.
Yes.
You know, my good friend Brian Allen is at Miami. They're talking about building and getting an academy type thing going.
Well,
which
I think that's it. I think that's
they
good
already
news
got
for
that
Gold
at Varsity
Coast.
High School.
Will they get in the NBL?
Look,
I don't think so.
I'm all for rivalries. I've been saying it for too long, and I worry that no one listens. We need another team in Perth. Right,
On the West Coast, yeah.
if you're going to go all the way over there, mate, and then when Perth, let's say it's where do the Dockers play?
That's AFL, right?
Yeah, they
have no interest.
they have they have 2 teams. Where did we have
good
the
to know.
America's Cup out there? It's windy as hell.
Yeah.
But you know, somewhere Perth's a big city. Get 2 teams.
Okay.
Now New Zealand, it's a long way to go.
Yeah.
Get 2 teams.
And then
Right?
you can stay there and play 2 games.
And the rivalry, right? Now you can tell the Melbourne Tigers and Southeast Melbourne Phoenix.
Yeah.
Isn't that a good rivalry? Sydney,
Sydney and Illawarra. Even though close.
that's a great rivalry.
That's today, I think.
It is today.
Yeah.
Cairns Townsville was a rivalry. And
Yes.
if you're looking at a city with facilities ready to go, Townsville.
Yeah.
God, you know what's again, you got to find somebody that's willing to lose a lot of money.
That seems to be a formula. But let's wrap up today. What do you think?
Pardon me?
Why don't we wrap up?
Sure, but why don't we talk about the games tonight?
Okay.
You mentioned Sydney Kings Illawarra. That's a great one.
So, we've got Illawarra.
I think Kansas is playing today, too. I think Kansas is playing New Zealand.
Kansas playing New Zealand. Illawarra, Sydney. Tomorrow we have Melbourne versus Adelaide. That'll be an interesting
That'll
game.
be a good one.
Yeah, that's at Melbourne.
Yeah.
But Adelaide are definitely one of those teams that we didn't expect to be where they are. And then the other game tomorrow is the Bullets and Perth in the afternoon.
Tomorrow.
Sunday, that's Perth's second game.
Is Perth coming here?
Yeah, yes they are. So it's
Wow.
a 3:30 game Sunday afternoon in Boondall. I've actually picked Perth for that game. I just think they're too hard to handle. The guy I love in that Perth team is Doolittle. He's a friggin' man.
About Jesse Wagstaff, man.
Hey?
Jesse Wagstaff.
Freak.
Love him.
Yeah, Jesse's unbelievable. But,
Steve, who should we do our next?
You know Doolittle? Like
I was impressed.
He's big.
Big. They had him playing the point guard.
Defending the point guard.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is. Now, who's going to be our team that we're going to do our next deep dive on?
I think we should do a deep dive on one of the high-profile teams, and that's Melbourne.
Melbourne it is.
Okay. So we've got we're starting to get our regular things. As we wrap up, Bruce, I'll let you're the best intro. You do the best wrap up. But I just really love that we've got the up news, like the daily news. No, what did you call it again?
We call it the Daily Mail.
Daily Mail.
/ insults. Not many insults.
But you know what I'd also like with our fans out there? Send me a joke that I can tell on the, someone send me a funny joke that I can talk. One
thing, I know that I'm tying a bow in this, producer Kyle. One thing that I admire, and we're going to get more about roles of assistant coaches and, the things, but remember I asked you every day, bring me something to think about. Bring me something new.
Yeah.
You were great at that.
Thank you, Bruce.
Glenn Bynes was great at that. Something to think about.
Like you don't just sit there and...
Correct.
I know we're trying to wrap up, but let's add this. I want to talk about assistant coaches because I see some of them that may be the second or third assistant coach really step out of their lane, like in the ear of the head coach during games. We'll talk about that.
Okay. Hey, once again, thank you to Brian Curl Basketball. Thank you, Chris Weir at FIT Education. Thank you to all of our listeners.